everyone, I'm Steve here with Brian. I can't wait what he's going to say to me. It's always something goofy. So, welcome, Brian.
Steve, I like you.
Do
That's
you,
not so goofy. That's
it
not so
depends.
goofy.
Do you
You take
just
that back.
do you like me or do you like me like me?
I think I'm going to cancel you.
Uh-oh.
You called me goofy.
Okay, so
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. By the way, anybody, if you're new to this, him and I mess with each other all the time. We're just kidding. Anyway, Steve.
okay, so we talk about testosterone replacement a lot. And
Yeah.
before we got on our last interview, we're talking about the variety of choices and the health choices that you have. And it's so confusing, when it comes to medications. And every doctor has a different opinion. I have my biases. Brian has his biases. I say that all the time. Doctors have their biases. Their biases line up with what they've seen in their patients and mostly what they see medications do. Here's where the algorithms kind of get me when I say I'm not a medication guy. I don't take medications. That's me. But everyone out there, and Brian's choices are different than mine because he's different. You have to think about all these things. Your diet, if your doctor recommends a certain medication, what are your options? What other medications are out there? What do they do? You have to learn what questions to ask because we don't even know. There's so many questions out there and there's so many different options. We don't even know what to ask. So you got to kind of build this all in with your diet, any medications that you choose to take if you think it's in your best interest, flu shots, you name it. So Brian's kind of evolved. We all have in our health choices and what we do. So tell us a little bit about, Brian, how you've evolved in what you put in your body, what you don't put in your body, and so on.
Well, for me, um, I made some pretty big choices over the last decade of what I was or was not going to do for me. I'm not a big fan of being told I have to do something, but I understand that if I want to choose to do something to comply or go along to get along, hey, I may do that. And I'm very comfortable with the choices that I make, even when people want to debate whether I should or shouldn't. We talked about this, and if you saw some of our videos, it's like I had taken COVID vaccines, and where I know Steve did not. And, there's always a big debate on that about what's going to happen. I was very comfortable in that. Steve was very comfortable in his choice. And I think through life, I've learned that not everything that is being given to me is necessarily doing me any favors. And some of the things that I think are going to aren't helping me. I went in for my last booster on a during the pandemic, my last booster, and my doctor recommended at that point in time, don't take the booster. You took the initials, just don't take anything else. And so I listened to him. I was a little bit surprised, and I was like, okay, maybe he knows a little bit more than I do. And then it started making me think about all the things that I have stopped taking under this doctor and how my health is today. So my doctor's known me for a long time because he was our one of our doctors in my old line of work, and he did our yearly physicals and things like that. But he became my primary doctor after I retired from my first career. And when I came out of my first career, I was on a boatload of medications. I was trying to manage blood pressure, cholesterol, anxiety, depression. I had a pretty significant drinking issue where I had to stop drinking. And I made all these changes, and I no longer take statins and blood pressure pills and anxiety medicine and depression medicine. And I'm taking none of these things. And we were kind of talking earlier. I went to go get my blood draws done, or not my blood draw, but my I went and donated blood the other day, and I went in and got my blood pressure done, and I was paying attention only because it always pops into my head. I don't take blood pressure medicine anymore, and I haven't for years now. When I used to be working in my old career, my blood pressure was outrageous. Even with medications, I was still in the 150s over this, that, or the other thing sometimes. And I'm in there the other day, zero medications taking for that purpose. And my blood pressure was like 120 over 73, 74, somewhere in that neighborhood, which I'm sure it can get better. But it just proves a point that you don't always have to take a pill to fix something. Now, might I add, I'm in an age management program where I have a very significant vitamin regimen. I'm on a TRT program. I do take these types of things, which I do think help me in that realm. My cholesterol is lower. I don't take cholesterol pills. My body fat is down. I don't take any weight loss pills. I do everything now. I'm managing it through my age management program, and my physical activity is extremely regular. I'm exercising at a minimum 5 days a week. And then when I leave the gym, I go to a part-time gig that I have outside of training people, where I'm physical 4 days a week for another 4 or 5 hours. And so I'm living a very active lifestyle, very different than what I was, and I'm off all these medications, and things are working way better for me. I don't know why, because I'm not a doctor, but it makes me question why I was taking all these prescriptions in the past, and I was doing it because I was told, and I wasn't really looking into things. Now I look for myself, I ask the questions, and I'm very specific when I'm told I should try something. I want to know what the benefit is to me, not what else somebody else is receiving from that benefit. And I always push it back to these weight loss pills that are these new things that are coming up for all these weight loss studies. Then these name brands that you see on TV, and all these people are diving into this stuff. And I'm thinking, boy, that's great that they're trying to lose weight. I'm happy for them. But if they're not changing their behaviors and their practices, and all they're doing is taking this expensive medication, by golly, when they're done with that medication, their body weight's going to shoot right back up because they haven't changed who they are or what they're doing, and they haven't made adjustments in life. Pills don't fix everything. Now, I might as well tell you this too. Sometimes you need the medicines. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you stop your medications at all. You need to make sure for yourself. You need to consult with your doctors. But I will tell you, I have had success being weaned off of all these products I used to take over the last decade.
Yeah. And I would also say, look, nobody here is telling you to do something or not to do something. We are not saying that. What I am saying is know what your choices are. Ask questions. Ask why. Because you're responsible for your own body. Don't let someone else be responsible. If you agree with them and you say, hey, take this or try this or do that, then do it. And I know, Brian, you called it fun food. You ate some fun food over the holiday, right?
Yeah, I did.
So,
like a champ.
I don't eat much fun food, pizza and beer once in a while, but we all get to make our choices. And I just want to encourage people to be aware and take responsibility for themselves, for the medications that you choose to take, for the medications you choose not to take. Because if you choose not to take a medication that your doctor recommends, you have to take responsibility for that also, not your doctor. So it's your body, you take responsibility for it, and pay attention. Use your brain, ask questions, get other opinions. And I agree with you, Brian, when you say, hey, I'm not telling you not to take medication, and certain things need medication, or you're worse off. A type 1 diabetic, you need insulin.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, again, I'm not a
Right.
doctor, but if you're a type 1 diabetic and you don't take insulin, you're going to die.
Well, and I think people do need cholesterol pills in some instances. I think people do need high blood pressure pills in certain instances. It's just that I found out for me, I actually didn't need it. And I was able to correct everything through other options, which was the physical activity, how I'm approaching life nowadays. I'm not, grabbing a handle of booze on the weekend and trying to put it down in a day or two. I've changed these practices. And as I've done that and worked on personal health and make choices that I believe are good for me, all that other stuff has been able to go away.
But here's
if that makes sense.
Here's something really important for people to understand about what you're saying in your experience, Brian. You were living kind of a stressful life.
Yeah.
Previous, law enforcement, stuff like that. You take away the stress, that changes everything.
Right.
So you've got to know, okay, yeah, you were taking all this stuff, but you've said yourself, you were stressed to the hilt, right?
Correct.
And not even aware of some of the stress that was just on you. And you get to a point, maybe you retire, you change your lifestyle a little bit. Stress is harmful, in my opinion. It can come out in all kinds of crazy ways. So are you living a stressful life? What can you change? What are your choices? What are your lifestyle choices? Talk to your doctor. What can you do to make yourself healthier? And maybe you do, maybe you don't need medications. I don't have a stressful life. At least I don't think it is. I'm a happy guy. I wake up happy. I go to bed happy. I go to bed excited for the next day. I wake up excited for the day I just woke up for. And that makes a difference. That makes a difference in my health. I exercise. So you can't just look at one thing and make a choice. And you know what? You might not make the right choice the first time. Most people probably aren't. But you got to try. You got to try something. And just remember, you are the one making choices for what you eat, the medications that you take, whether you do TRT or whether you drink alcohol or whatever it is. There's consequences, good and bad, for all of our choices.
Correct. Just be happy, everyone. And Steve and I kid around and we'll banter about things. It's really important to understand that it's okay to be different. It really is. It's okay to not go with what you may think is the norm and to make choices for yourself. People aren't always going to see it the same, and hopefully you're in a situation in life in which you make those choices for yourself, whether it be medications or lifestyle, whatever it is you want to do. Hopefully you're surrounded by those people that care about you as an individual and who support you for those choices. So just embrace life. Do the right things for you. It's going to work out.
That's right. And now it kind of feels like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood right now. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. But won't you be my neighbor?
I will not be your neighbor, Steve. You live too far away.
I think in the last video you said you like me.
I do.
That's different than just like.
No, that was this one.
Oh, was it? Oh, I'm an older guy.
Huh? You need medicine for that, bro.
Okay. Well, thanks for being with us, Brian. We'll talk to you next time.
Take care, Steve. Bye, everyone.